I need a name for the boat. I know I asked you guys once before, but that video didn't really do super hot, so drop some comments down below of a name for this boat. She's nameless, so she's got to get a name. So drop a comment down below. Welcome back for another video, and today is one that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I've got the boat. And I've been thinking about how to build a blind on it, and this idea has been rolling around, and I've been wanting to figure out if it's possible to do it, and if it is possible, how many modifications do I need to make this work. So I've got an old A-frame cover and an old A-frame. This one I was going to retire this year. The Velcro is pretty much shot on it, and it's seen its fair share of use and abuse. So my idea is to use this A-frame as kind of like the base build of the boat blind on the new boat. So I set up the frame. There's a few modifications I need to do. So let me put the camera on the tripod and explain. Okay, so here was my original idea. This A-frame, the way the frame is laid out, is actually perfect for this boat, and it is just a hair too long to fit down in the actual cavity of the boat. So it's resting up here on the back and up on the front, and I'm going to have it tied off there. So this will cover a pretty decent amount of the boat. But the issue I'm having is that there's still a really big gap between these poles. And so I think this will work really well. I mean, it's at a perfect height when I'm sitting in this chair here. I can barely see over the top. I'm going to have some cover coming up over the front. I think I just need to bend these poles here to where they're going to cover a little bit more of the backside and fill up this big gaping hole in here. And then it should be pretty good to go. Now I need to figure out a way to kind of cover the back side of the boat and the front side of the boat, but this is going to be kind of the perfect shape for a blind on this boat. Like, it's going to not limit any kind of space and availability. It's completely free because I've got the blind here, and I mean, it's better than just having to sit around until I throw it away eventually and try and sell it. So might as well put this to use in a new way, because that A-frame cover is really not going to work great for another season of hunting. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to get it to attach here, maybe some zip ties, things like that. But I think this is definitely a good starting point. We just got to see how we can finish it. So stick with me on this one. All right, so I've got a conduit bender here, and I think this will work pretty good. I just got to make sure I'm very even with what I'm doing. I've never used one of these before. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and bend these at the point in the A-frame where it bends already, and just kind of give it a bit more of a tweak. So I guess we'll just, I don't know, I'm scared to mess this up. Alright, I'll give that a try. So it actually looks pretty good. I think I'm going to keep using that technique if it's not going to cover it all the way. It definitely closed that gap a pretty decent amount, and I think it looks pretty good. So there's the gap now. So it starts there. This is the piece I bent. It goes from there to over there. So definitely close that gap up a little more. I think that's going to work pretty good. It's definitely something that's very easy to change. If I need to bend it more, I can definitely bend it some more. But one quick little tweak there, I think we've got the very beginnings of a boat blind. So I'm going to slap the cover up on this. You guys can't see me. I'm going to slap the cover on this, and then you guys can kind of see what one side's going to look like. This is definitely something that is very difficult to show on camera. I never thought like putting a blind on a boat would be so hard to show you, but here's what it looks like. The camera might not do it justice for what it is, but there's a good portion. So you can see here the amount that I'm going to have to conceal with another material. And then same down here on this side. It comes pretty close, so we've only got, you know, probably 3 feet or so. And then moving towards the back here, hopefully you guys can visualize, you know, maybe some brush coming up over the top here, some brush coming up over the top here, and then just kind of popping up, coming through and shooting. So it definitely looks like it's going to work pretty well. So this kind of brings me to my next point, and that's I wanted to do a blind build on this boat because I feel like it'd be really fun to do as a project. But you know, when I stopped to think about it, this blind, I would probably only use it maybe 2-3 times a year. I'd probably, most of the time if I'm taking the boat, especially like on a lake or something, I'm gonna just take an A-frame with me, set that up on the bank, and just use the boat to get to my spot, set everything up, tuck the boat away somewhere that's hidden, and then I don't have to hunt out of the boat, worry about the boat blind or anything like that. So there's only a few situations where I think this blind will be useful, but I'm making use of something that I already have and something that I was gonna retire. So it's gonna have some new life here, and I might actually just enjoy hunting out of the boat. So we'll see how it goes. I've never hunted out of a boat blind on lakes. I've done it in a marsh a couple of times, so we'll see how it goes. But I think this is definitely a very good start, and I'm excited to put the other cover on this and see what it looks like for the finished product. But I'm definitely gonna be putting some raffia grass on this. I'm not gonna use natural material. Natural material will get wet and rot, and especially since it's gonna be kind of down in the water here, I don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna be using some synthetic materials on this that won't rot or deteriorate with water. Like I said, I'm gonna be tying down the front side of this so then it just doesn't slide off and go in the water. I've got some cleats right here, and so I'm gonna use a rope or a bungee or something, tie this pole down here on the cleats, and then on the back I'm going to run a bungee up and over the seat and help holding that down. So you can kind of see the pole there, nice hunt cavity there. I think it's gonna work good. Have you guys ever built a blind on a boat before? If you have, let me know down in the comments what style of blind you're using and how it works, and if you have any tips for hunting out of boat blinds in like open water or in a marsh or on a lake, let me know. I'm kind of curious. This is totally a new situation to me, so I'm gonna rely on you guys for some advice. Yeah, I think we're gonna get the other cover put on here and give it a nice little sneak peek as to what's to come. All right, it actually looks pretty good. So I think that bend that I put in there is perfect. It is definitely taller on the backside, which is nice. It's definitely closed up that gap enough to where, you know, if I get some brush coming up over the top, some brush coming up over the front, it's gonna really close up that gap. All kinds of space down in there. The front cover looks really good. So just gotta figure out how to cover that up. Maybe just some camo netting or something. And then same thing on the front. So there's the front. It looks pretty good. And the back side, which really doesn't matter all that much. I did want something that would block the wind, and that is what that is going to do there. So it doesn't cover a lot of the bottom of the boat, which is really not a big deal since this is the back side. Nothing's really going to be facing it. So having that up there with some brush, it's going to look good. Who would have thought that you could like just turn an old A-frame into a boat blind? So that's pretty cool. I'm glad I kind of thought of this idea. Originally, I did think that the A-frame was going to fit perfectly in that little center area, but hey, I'm not complaining. This looks really good for what it is. It's completely free, and all I need to do now is just figure out the takedown and roll up, and then how to cover the front and the back, and I think it's going to be a good way to hunt. So I'm going to hop in here and show you guys kind of like the side view of me sitting in here and showing you like what it's going to look like. Climbing up in here is definitely going to be the hardest part. When I'm sitting down here, this front side is right at eye level, so I'm like right here on it, and I think even up at the front of the boat it's going to be the same level. This backside comes pretty much right over my head, which I'm happy about, and there's stuff behind me here, so I can even scoot this seat back even farther if there wasn't anything behind me. And I think this is going to work. My only concern is this blind like blowing off the boat, so I got to figure out a good way to attach it down to where the wind won't take it. So I honestly think just a few bungees, just like this, wrapped around, that'll kind of hold it down pretty good and keep it from blowing away. Same with the ropes, especially on those cleats. So that's really convenient that this blind fits right on those cleats so it can be tied down. This is just the beginning, so follow along in the journey of the duck boat. But that's about it for today. I just wanted to try and tinker with this, bring you guys along on the journey, and give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of what's to come. And I think we're definitely off to the right start. Just got to figure out a few more fine details, and we'll be ready to go. But I think real quick, I'm going to do a tear down of this blind and see how possible it is to do while in the boat. So I guess we'll get started on that. I'm thinking all we got to really do is just roll it up as we're taking it down. Granted, it's going to be a little heavier with some brush on it, but I think just being able to roll it up like this is going to work. There's one side. I'm also curious about how much room having this in the boat is going to take up. So here it is broken down. I can break these poles down even more, but I think they fit pretty good just like that. I'm going to leave this front crossbar on there when we're hunting with this, and same with the back side. So that's going to stay there. Folds down nice. Doesn't really take up a whole lot of room. And there's still quite a bit of space in here. And there's a lot of stuff in here that probably won't even be in the boat when we're duck hunting. So I think this is going to work. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know what you think of this down in the comments. It's definitely a work in progress. We've got a few things to tidy up on it, but I think we've got a really good start, and it's going to turn into something really cool when we're done.